previous week. I mean, Resolve definitely put XL to the swords for the first sort of 15, 20 minutes of their game. XL were able to recoup, obviously, and get the win. But there aren't, it's not an impenetrable strategy from XL right now. And even when we spoke to Marcoon in the interview, he did say, we took a huge break. We had a big vacation. We just wanted to take some time off playing. We've only recently come back and scrimming. We've only been scrimming for a week in the lead up to the NLC. We're not 100% sure on the meta right now. We're still trying to figure out what style works for us. Though I would imagine now with a bit more time on the patch and a bit more time together, they're starting to head back to that finals European Masters version of XL that we know and love. The hope for the NLC, as we're calling them, as they did do well in this past European Masters. But XL, they are banning the Renekton Lee Sin off the table as well. So some of those big flex solo lane picks are starting to be taken away.
Yeah, I think for BTXL, same with Fnatic. BTXL and Fnatic, the two sister LEC teams in the NLC, expectations are always pretty high for them. But with what BTXL were able to achieve in EU Masters, never been higher, right? And so it's like a lot of eyes will be on them here. Playing in the NLC, and even games like this, people are actually paying attention now to this league, and I think it's only a good thing for the rest of the teams as well, because it gets some good practice in against a squad that can obviously compete against the best. And we're seeing some relatively standard bans here. Gwen not going to be going through as per, but it is going to be the Rumble first pick. Very strong jungler, but likes of the Viego, the Ezreal, the Karma still open.
Mm-hmm. And again, it seems like we're going to have Ezreal on the Rift. I'm honestly kind of wishing for the teams to go for something a little bit different, but we've seen that it works, and being paired up with the Karma, there's going to be a really strong bot lane combination, both of them. I think they complement each other really well. We've seen that in the previous games. So I really want to see if Dusty can pull this off again and follow the trail of the teams that have played for this competition today.
Yeah, I think the answer that we often get into Rumble is either Udyr or Morgana, and those things are still open as well. So, it's not like it's a one-sided jungle sort of discussion, but the Rumble Lucian, it's there. It's time and time again. People are just playing this like that mixed damage profile mid jungle is difficult to itemize against. There's the Leona. I mean, XL looking like they're heading towards a very heavy engaged dive comp. And actually, you talk to pro teams a lot recently, and they'll say the number one thing in a comp that makes the difference right now is having engage. Solid engage, being able to be proactive and force the fights that you want. That is what defines this meta, and XL playing straight towards that.
I think so far both of these lineups are very meta. They're very League of Legends right now. You've got the Udyr jungle, Udyr into Rumble, pretty standard junglers. The fact that Karma's rising in popularity as well means that champions like Udyr, who just want to run at you, are even better, because Karma loves doing that. With Australia, she'll shield up the Karma, and Udyr can zip around. But yeah, I think honestly, someone like Leona is a really good answer in this current meta. Because I think for someone, when you're playing against the Karmas and the Ezreal, they're so hard to lock down. But if you do catch them with something, then they are sitting ducks, right? And that gives you the opportunity where Karma and Ez might otherwise try and poke you. If you can force and engage, it nullifies the poke.
The second ban phase here, Wukong taken off the table, Tristana banned, Samira banned, which is interesting. That's a deadly special. Not many people sort of pull Samira out as much recently, but Deadly is one of those guys that will. We'll see what BTXL choose to ban last year. But I mean, I think every draft today has included either a Rumble Lucian or an Ezreal Karma. It has been a consistent thematic, as Foxy has said, meta thematic across all of our games today. It's just actually quite different from what we saw last week as well. So already we're seeing things start to evolve throughout the weeks of the NLC as well.
I find to be very interesting the way that teams are theming currently. And now they're gonna go for the next pick, right? And this is difficult one for Dusty, I'd say, because as you said before, the composition for BDXL is quite engaged, focused, and apparently it's going to be a zero picture for them. It is something that I haven't seen that so much, really on the Rift, but I really like his kit. I think he can keep the enemies at bay, and with his ultimate, it's going to be really useful for Dusty here in order to prevent a little bit of damage coming from BDXL.
And having a champion like that, exactly as you say, Carmeline, having a champion that can keep people away is perfect for a blind pick, which is what Dusty's had to do here, right? You've got that Victor as a blind, so whatever the lane matchup is going to be, I'm talking out of my It's not blind at all, there's Lucian. But either way, it's someone that doesn't get punished very hard in lane. So even if you go up against someone that's hard to play against in lane, like Lucian, you'll still be okay. And also just as well, like it's another champion, no mobility. So if you've got that Karma on your team, there's a really good synergy coming through there. Deadly's locking in this Kalista Leona bot side. My goodness. You mentioned something about engage there, Kinnan. I reckon lobbing a Leona into people's faces, fairly decent engage as well.
Yeah, I agree. But plenty of disengage and peel from Dusty. Like you have the Gravity Well, you've got a Sion who's sit on the middle of the team fight, you've got Anudia who can peel with Bear Stance if he needs to, you've got a disengaging Ezreal, you've got a Karma. Like there is plenty of ways to disengage if you can find that angle. But just looking at XL, like that's the kind of team that will take over a game very quickly. And again, those proactive teams, the ones that can define when they want to engage or not, seem to be the teams that come out on top in the current meta.
Yeah, you just smother them. That's XL just goes forward, just throws everything forward, and it's not going to be an easy game for Dusty to play, especially if they fall behind early. If Dusty don't fall behind early, then they just they'll stand more of a chance. But it's BTXL that they're going up against. And easier said than done.
Are you on the XL hype train, Carmeline? Are you sort of? I know you vote for the underdog here, but are you actually going to vote for the underdog in this matchup, or are you on the XL hype train?
No, I'm not on the XL hype train. I'm on they played on the Spanish league train. So hat-tricks, Deadly, you've got my support in this game. So BDXL, go.
Okay, we call it the Gulborg maneuver. Okay, we're going to hand it over to Oibrain and Jamado for the final cast of the night. We'll see you soon.
Alrighty, welcome back to the cast. That's for our final game of the day. It's going to be BTXL versus Dusty. Dusty 0-2, BTXL 2-0. Very dominant team so far here in the league. Obviously, we've only seen 2 games from them, but I mean, even if we kind of pull away just from the numbers and go, yeah, this is the team that came second in EU Masters. This is the team that have made it the furthest of any team from the UK and Nordics in that tournament. And same team, same roster. They are still looking as scary as ever. And as we're on to our 5th and final game of the day, for me, the question is how convincing is this win? Because we kind of expect it, but how convincing is it? Because versus Resolve, they did get challenged.
Yeah, I certainly think so. And I think here, with this kind of composition that they've drafted for themselves, it's going to be much harder to be challenged in the early game. You've got the Kalista in the bot lane, you've got the Lucian mid lane, which is, a pick that we all know is synonymous with lane priority. And Jace is playing into a tank, so it's not like he should get crazy pressured in this lane, to the point where Arome has even just started Cole. He's just like, all right, well, I'm laning against Sion. Like, might as well take 3 gold. That's as far as it goes. So yeah, we have to see something convincing, I feel like, from BTXL. The early games have been a little bit shaky, and yes, they've credited it to having a little bit of an extended break period, not screwing as much leading up to the NLC and things like that. But as weeks go on, we have to see things ramp up.
Alrighty, well, looks like Markun's going to start up on this red side all alone. There is a ward, actually, that was placed down. So I do believe the XL ward they placed down themselves would have allowed them to see that one. So they'll know that there is the ward there. Markun will expect to get tracked. So maybe he'll just go down towards his Krugs. He's pulling the red buff down there. Kind of playing in the fog of war.
Yeah, Markun kind of... I guess it's not going to matter because he's still going to overheat eventually. But normally whenever you see Rumble solo start, they want to try and overheat ASAP. But I think just missed out on the overheat 2 times at the start of the range. Something small, I noticed, just as a jungler thing, really. But yeah, like you say, starting off on the red, Sawyer also starting off on the bottom side on this blue buff, so potentially going to meet each other at the top side of the map. As Dusty in this bottom lane, expectedly on the first wave, looking for something there, taking priority. This Kalista lane really wants to try and wait until level 2, 3, sort of that kind of time to truly try and be oppressive in the 2v2 like we've always known Kalista to kind of be.
Yeah, this is the Ezreal Karma bot lane we've kind of seen so many times today. It is very oppressive early, especially when you have that melee support like a Leona. So expect this to be a pretty hard shove lane for a little while. Maybe XL can see if they can do anything about it, but with the fact that Markun is full clearing upwards, they're not really going to get any jungle intervention for a while. I guess the one positive is Sawyer's also full clearing upwards, so
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about him showing up yet.
Dive or exactly. There isn't going to be too much pressure. This mid lane matchup is always one that I kind of consider quite interesting, I think, for both sides, because typically Victor in some matchups actually can kind of be a bit of a bully, albeit, you typically like traditionally think of him as, hey, wait till he gets that first augmentation for his E, and then he just wave clears over and over. And as for Lucian, the trading patterns are really difficult because you can never dash forward, because as soon as you dash forward, you've used it for one, and then the Victor just places the gravity field underneath you, and you just get stunned up, and you will usually lose the trade. So I actually expect this mid lane to be pretty quiet, unless there's a misstep from either party, and it'll just be a bit of a bounce back in wave priority.
It's definitely Hatrix wants to kind of get quick trades on his terms.
That's
wait for Warzy to use that Q, burn the shield, jump into him, get a quick burst out and run away. As Sawyer is here. Well, Hatrix just used the dash, but he's very close to his tower, has that flash. I don't think we're going to see a quick tower dive coming in from Sawyer, but Sawyer is going to actually help push the wave out for Warzy, so Warzy can get an advantageous reset.
Marcoon's behind them, though.
Oh, he's coming in. They've got the W. Hatrix gets that movement speed to work with. He's just going to dash into Warzy's face. Can't quite find the kill. The gravity field is big. Warzy survives.
Hatrix just did an auto attack. I'm 90% sure he was in range to auto attack after the Q. I am so convinced he was in range. Maybe a replay if we get a little more downtime after that one. 3 flashes, 2 on the side of XL blown, and Warzy's blown in an escape attempt, which was very much successful. No first blood going over to XL. That's an engage in the bottom lane.
Yeah. And there's the shift, so Avian just takes all the poke on the way out.
Yeah, it's such an annoying interaction. I feel like sometimes there's a specific time where you can actually hit the Zenith Blade and you'll follow Ezreal, but it's a very specific time. Now, I want to see Hatrix, because I'm pretty sure he just feels like the double dash autos with the Q will kill him, and he turns around. He turns around, yeah.
He just cancelled the auto.
Yeah. I kind of get it, though, because I feel like if he commits for those 2 autos, he might get stunned up in the gravity field, and then it ends up being a 1-for-1, so maybe he's thinking a lot about his own life in this scenario, just because Sawyer also still hadn't blown his flash. But, I mean, first blood, when you're going to then be dealing with a flashless Victor, getting that extra 400 gold. I mean, in this case, he bought a pickaxe on his base, so he could have had the Noon Quiver, which I feel like is probably a better back statistically than the pick. But hey, didn't go for it. Warzy will still be down this
Shoulda, coulda, wouldas, mate.
Shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And Warzy has to be careful, because once those minions die, if Hatrix wants to get aggressive, there's nothing guarding a potential culling, but Hatrix doesn't want to go for the aggro play-in. Instead, looks like potential dragon setup. Look at all this vision being placed down and clear the way. Nothing actually placed, I believe, by Dusty anyway.
At the moment, I think it's a bit of a scouting mission. They did use the Scryer just to spot out if they can see where Sawyer is. Advian's in position to help Marcoon start this one up. Sawyer might make his way down in time. Deadly doesn't have that Fate's Call available.
No.
Sawyer level 6 and Marcoon not. This actually is a little bit scary for XL, but they don't have the lane prior in the bot or the mid. Hatrix moves over, and XL should just be able to pick this one up for free, although Sawyer is still waiting.
I think he's looking more at bot angle. I think he was waiting to see whether or not Deadly would overextend on the wave. And I mean, he's got no jungle camps up right now. He's actually kind of just waiting, had nothing to do. But yeah, definitely could have been potentially scary there. Well, I think XL just had so much control around the area that even without Marcoon being level 6, there wasn't really that much for that.
Yeah, Marcoon's just looking to be a bit of a nuisance to Sawyer here. But Dusty are holding this vision line here. Marcoon's just being really annoying to Sawyer. And they're going to clear out this vision once again. Hatrix once again moving over to assist his team. He's got this prio in the mid lane because Warzy's flashless. Warzy has to play fairly safe in the lane. And XL was setting up to try and contest this blue. The smite's too early from Sawyer, and Advian's going to step forward, gets himself a stun, and M-Test is locked down. It's first blood for Deadly. XL going to be happy with that one.
Yeah, XL are going to be happy. I think major misstep from Dusty, in my opinion. I think just give this one up. It's a blue buff. It sucks that Warzy won't pick it up, yes. But at the same time, look at the champions you're against in this invade. And the champions that you currently have. Just yield it. Plain and simple, in my opinion. M-Test has to blow his flash and still dies for his troubles. And they lost the blue buff. I think Deadly with an auto attack picked it up. Kind of funnily. The smite came out a little bit too early from one of the parties.
think the coal's almost finished now for Arome. He's going to get charged onto by Zombie. Sawyer's coming in, and actually Arome, flash available, probably not even necessary. He's going to lose his life here. Tries to get the acceleration gate damage off. He does a fair amount of damage, and Arome gets flashed onto, switches forms, takes to the skies. Zombie's going to survive, and Sawyer will secure the kill.
Credit where credit's due. Arome almost turned that into a something. Almost returned at least one kill in response for this gank, but eventually does that. I mean, he gets both flashes out of Zombie and Sawyer for his work, so credit there. The kill does go over to the Udyr, so let's see what he can do with it, if he can maybe get a core item faster and then try and build up some tempo somewhere. But there's nowhere really for Udyr to play to this game, which I feel like is one of the big issues. Normally when you have Udyr, you want to have lane priority somewhere, you want to be able to play around the lane, but it just isn't really the case. It's BTXL with mostly lane priority across the board. And I mean, in all honesty, I feel like team fights are going to be relatively tough too as time goes on, especially with the Jace and the Rumble on top of the Leona.
I can't wait to get your thought a little bit as a jungler, because I believe Avian's going to be fine, which he is. Although Dusty may try and contest this Rift Herald. It looks like they're just going to step away. I want to kind of get your thoughts on Rumble runes, because we've seen 2 runes show up, Predator or the Dark Harvest. Why do you think we see one over the other?
I think it will normally be to do with gap closing on like range targets. Sometimes, you know, if you're into... Well, actually, I'm not sure entirely, because I've not played a whole bunch on the most recent patches. But I'm using the same argument that I would use for when we started to see Lilia's take it, which was Lilia was really oppressive when she could get up into the face of enemies, and sometimes into some of the longer range compositions. You know, doing that with Dark Harvest or even with Phase Rush, right? Because you have to get on top of them to apply Phase Rush. That's how the rune works. With Predator, you kind of negate that problem and you close the time it actually takes to get on top of members. So that's why you see Predator. Also, you know, every time you use it, you just get a proc of damage, like regardless, as long as you hit someone with an ability. And in this case, Pop Rumbler off of Predator, and hey, flash engage.
Was he? There's the culling. Flash is already down. He's dead. Marcoon secures it.
Yeah, so much damage. Nothing else to really say about that. Even through the flash away, you get double harpoon.
Hold on.
Ooh.
Advian goes for the Hex Flash, looks to lock and test down the Zenith Blade, the Solar Flare to follow, and Deadly's just free firing. One quick rend. He has the Fate's Call as well to make sure his support comes in as they just yo-yo in the bot side, though. Arome is just receiving even more love. He is popped before the CC ends.
Going on top.
As Baloo's looking for Deadly. Deadly takes that
tower
shot.
The minions.
Might finish him. Boom, gets the kill. What a tragedy.
Oh no, what happened up there? And now we've got mid lane skirmish. Sawyer's in the mid lane.
That's just going to be the end of the Rumble. The charge is going to come out, but Hatrix not close enough to get anywhere near. The bear stance is coming in, and Hatrix is being fried. Sawyer is just bolting around the map.
Okay, Dusty answer back in every single lane. In the bottom lane, they attack Arome because they see the top side players going on. They're maybe expecting Rumble to rotate up there as well after the mid lane gank. We get the replay here, and it's a very clean execution on the dive initially. They take down M-Test with pretty much no rebuttal at all. Now, the Fate's Call misses, and this is where we cut to the bottom side to see Arome just get absolutely one-shot, really. There's nothing you can do about that. And somehow, some way, they managed to botch the engage. I think somehow Deadly took tower aggro first, is my initial assumption about that tower dive. And then all of a sudden, Marcoon and Hatrix try to place the Herald down to take down the plates. And they just forget that Udyr can run at Mach 9 speeds at will back towards the mid lane. And they both pay for it with their life.
There's a real tragedy there as XL now looking to see if they can find a little something here in the mid wave as they've rotated lots of members over. They've got that ultimate available, and Dusty is going to pick up this dragon. It's an absolute freebie for them. I'll be looking at our 4th Infernal Soul of the day. RNG has been in our favor as the map does burn away, and Baloo finds himself all isolated and all cooked up. It's a Rumble barbecue, baby. Zombie, you don't want to eat that. That's rotten meat. They're going to step away.
Nothing more to say. Just trying to patrol their own jungle, set down some defensive vision. Quite frankly, not allowed to do so. XL, I think they're a little bit angry after the...
Oh, was he? Is he dead?
No.
Bring your pots.
This is why you pop your potions, everybody. think he would have died without popping corrupting pot right there.
Yeah.
And-
No, he definitely would have died.
Yeah, and M-Test, a little bit of alone time, but this is a very sad Ezreal in this game. 2 levels down, and the Goon Squad is making its way back
It's on
to
its
the lane.
way. Run, M-Test! He's fine.
Yeah, so XL...
I didn't even notice the level deficit actually between him and
Yeah.
Deadly. I mean,
Yes.
Deadly's obviously been able to pick himself up 2 kills because him and Avin have been playing pretty aggressively. You did mention kind of level 3 onwards. That's when you do expect to see them start to play more aggressively. And they've been absolutely murdering poor M-Test in lane. Luckily, it's only a 1 level deficit now. But this was the lane where the Ezreal Karma, you expected to have that early priority, which they had. Now they're in a rougher spot. You can see the gold difference between him and M-Test. 1,600 gold separates these two.
And, you know, it's what you need out of a Kalista lane, right? You need to get her ahead. You need to make sure she's not going to fall behind, because we know what happens to Kalistas when they fall behind. They're just an extra body at team fights. So, fortunately, right now, Deadly is up and ahead. Taking a look across the board, it was looking kind of even. I didn't quite catch the jungle gold, but we're going to have to hold that because...
oh, no!
Yeah, maybe we don't have to hold that. Yeah, it was a
Adrian.
gold. Yeah, can we just get the gold back up? Because, you know, Warzy doesn't get to play League of Legends. It's about equal, despite the fact that he's got 4 kills and he's equal CS.
Yeah.
I guess there's a lot to do with the plates that Marco picked up as well on some of the towers.
He's got 2 kills and 2
local gold too.
assists, so he's still, you know, involved in 4 kills, just like Sawyer.
Yeah, and despite Arome, both of our academy top lanes today have really been picked on. Arome and Pride, if you remember, Pride was getting camped at the start of the day too.
Yeah.
Still finds himself up in gold. So he's not too fussed about that one.
I'm right in saying Pride played Jace as well.
Yeah. Funnily enough, that was the case. It was the Jace pick. Now, Sawyer and M-Test seem
Sawyer.
really adamant to die.
Yeah, Sawyer thinks he can kill Deadly. He's dead wrong.
Oh.
But it looks like they're going to call off the dive thanks to that TP. And now Dusty actually bringing multiple members over. They got the charge for Zombie if he wants to pull it. Just going to burn that teleport. And this is going to give free time to Arome to take that tower in the top side.
Yeah.
At least he'll get that for the team.
Quite frankly, you call that a win. You exchange pressure for a teleport from your enemy top laner and a solo gold. But Arome?
Arome has to flash away. Warzy flashes after him. Arome is bolting.
Next
Can he
laser.
get away? Warzy's going to chase one last laser beam. Arome is being cyberbullied in today's game of League of Legends.
Yeah. I'm sure if there's a top laners group chat, Arome and Pride are going to be very upset in it today. As no one seems to want to let the Jace players do their thing.
But Deadly's going to be able to hold this wave. Got that shield bow. I was interested to see actually what he built.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen a Kalista. I genuinely haven't seen a single Kalista.
Not surprised. Yeah, so Kalista... What did she used to go prior to that? I mean, you would often see things like walk into
Hurricane.
Hurricane as well, yeah. So, you know, the Immortal Shield Bow kind of along those lines. After this, I'm actually not sure what we'll see. At the start of the season, I see some Kalista players do really wacky stuff like Gwynsu's into Runans. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Gwynsu's was a build for a while on her.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it was just because Gwynsu's was a really strong item now.
Well, because you got the extra stacking as well, so you get auto attack, put another spear in.
Yeah.
So every 3 auto attacks would give you 4 spears, if I'm remembering it right.
It might be something like that, but given the items, I think that is the components for Runans, and that is what we'll be seeing. Deadly's
not
Kalista
PD.
today. Huh?
That's not PD.
No, I didn't say. I said Hurricanes.
Yeah, I know. I'm backing you up, mate. That's what I'm doing.
Right. Okay.
We don't have to have an argument about it like a married couple.
All right. All right, Jacob. It's been a long day.
It has. We had a half an hour break.
We only had it's only kind of long because of the half an hour break, but you know, we've been at it for the past couple days. That's a Rift Herald to secure priority, as Marcoon smites the Gromp even though the dragon's up, but Deadly is walking smite, so it doesn't really matter.
That's a running zombie.
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh, yeah. His name is literally Zombie. That's all. That's a good call, Jake. Good call. I like that. As oh,
Thanks, mate. There's the equalizer. Warzy, he's not saying thanks, mate. He's saying, what the hell, as he gets harpooned. There goes the smash onto one, and Sawyer flashes forward to get the kill. He's actually mopping up a couple here. Avian's going to lose his life. Marcoon's all alone. Warzy's able to secure the kill as they're cooking Zombie, but Zombie is able to survive. That's a tanky boy, and Marcoon will go down. Double kill for Zoya.
Yeah, Deadly in the mid lane right now is probably scratching his head at what just happened in the bottom lane. It seemed a little bit unprovoked, to be totally honest with you. But Dusty are the benefactors of that. They'll happily take 3 kills into their back pocket. I didn't quite catch the shutdowns, if there were any, actually. As, yeah, Warzy steps too far forward and pays for it with his life. But then just a lot of damage came back out from the Victor. And it meant that once Sawyer got here, he was able to just mop up everybody. And slowly but surely, Marcoon did die. Took a little while, but shields not quite enough to hold off the Udyr forever.
We're going to need to see some Magic Pen coming through from Marcoon. Got that Night Harvester. Building towards what looks like to be the Zhonya's is the next item here. Yeah,
that's the thing about this version of Rumble is that he doesn't really need much Magic Pen to work. Like, traditionally, for as long as I've been watching competitive League of Legends, Rumble has always been about, you know, Sork Pen into what it used to be, Oblivion Orb, and then prior to that, I think there was something else as well that used to give 15 pen with it. But getting those double pen items used to make him basically one-shot things. Speaking of one-shotting things,
Warzy is honestly having the most uninteractive game today. He can't walk through his own jungle without getting killed.
Who had the least interactive game of League of Legends? Arome in this laning phase, getting ganked, or Warzy so far throughout this game?
I think Warzy, because Arome's at least been able to take towers and things. He's still been like able to do something. Warzy just dies before the team fight happens, and then just watches on the grey screen while his team gets all the fun bits.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think that's right as well. Just not having a fun time, but yeah, I mean, you see the damage. Rumble just needs Night Harvester and boots, and
yeah,
he's just the champion. That really hurts, like, a lot. Speaking of champions that hurt a lot, Kalista at this stage of the game is potentially going to give us a demonstration. Never mind, but with those 2 items, it's going to be really hard to lock her down when she's got Diona standing in front of her face, and the fact that Dusty have to focus on so many other threatening aspects of BTXL right now. Let's see if he goes unchecked. He'll certainly pop off in a team fight, but right now I think it's all about Marcoon on the Rumble with all of this damage that he's got.
Well, 22 minutes into the game, 2 items on both hat-tricks and Deadly right now. Marcoon closing in on that final item as a Arome able to take down his 3rd tower of the game. He's actually been pretty impactful on the tower front for his team.
Yeah.
Almost got that Manamune fully stacked up into the Mirror Mana. And that's kind of going to be the first major spike. That 3rd item is the big one we like to see. But once you got that Mirror Mana, you do start to really hurt as the Jace.
Yeah, it's actually kind of far away, but Jace does stack tier a little bit slower if you're not spamming abilities off cooldown as a... Well,
they want the shutdown. They're going to get it, and it's going to be given over to Advian.
No.
He earned it. No, you know what? Screw you. He earned that kill. He has been playing his heart out.
Yeah, no, that was a good engage. That was a nice ult. Chain CC.
He set his team up for so much success this game.
Yeah, he has. You know what, Advian, you earned it, brother.
Pat yourself on the back. You earned that shutdown. This is a very early Baron going over for XL.
It's the
I don't think Dusty are quite ready for it. They don't see it with the vision thanks to that pink ward.
No, they just don't know. And I mean, quite frankly, you've got 2 AD carries that have 2 items, so why the hell not? That is typically the rule of thumb. When you've got an AD carry, when you want to do Baron, 2 items is when you want to start taking down the big purple worm. And in this case, they have 2 of them and a Rumble for good measure. So happy to do that. Hat-Trick's TP's up to the top side, so they might not even care too much about this dragon unless he's just going to push this lane in and then rotate down. But he's going to be walking through what is effectively Dusty territory to do it.
Oh, they know he's there now as he's looking for Baloo. Baloo may bit off more than he can chew. That's going to be a bad dash by Hat-Trick. It almost gets Baloo. Baloo has to flash.
Okay, forget the fact that Hat-Trick's like misplayed and Baloo almost got 1 shot. I love that Sawyer hugged the wall and procced Phoenix stance just to get an assist for that kill. You didn't smite him, he just hugged the wall with Phoenix stance and got an assist for it. Hats off, stacking the stat padding, the KDA. So Dragon gonna go over to BTXL though because of all the numbers committed up to the top side. Yeah, a bit of a head scratcher from Hatrix, to be honest. Again, TP's up to the top side. If you push the lane in, I think you just take the safest path possible back to the bottom side. Now, Warzy is lying in wait because he knows someone's going to come respond to this wave. And Sawyer's actually here as well, so it's a full-on gang.
Marcoon, though. This might be a bit of a scrap. Warzy thought he got to play, but no. Marcoon is hunting him down as a Rome almost takes out Sawyer. Warzy's able to blast Kona away to safety. XL have already found a response, though, as Deadly has taken out M-Test. Now, Deadly will hunt down Warzy. Warzy, you thought you were going to escape this one, friend. No, the Equalizer will toast you. Only so far you can run. There's a blast cone to work with. This will be the end of days for Warzy. Deadly should just be able to finish this one up. One cheeky rend, and Deadly secures the kill.
That's a lot of damage, though, in response. You've got to give it to Warzy.
It is a lot of damage.
He's been getting bullied this game. So it's nice to see that the Victor is capable of dealing damage, but quite frankly, Dusty haven't really put themselves in a position to really team fight often. Oh, great flash.
That's going to be the charge, actually interrupted beautifully. The teleports are coming in. XL are looking to fight. There's the solar flare onto 2. Sawyer trying to kill Marcoon, but Marcoon's able to survive. The damage coming in from Hatrix is disgusting. The snipe comes in onto the backline. It's a double kill for Hatrix. They're just mopping up absolutely everyone. The triple kill for him as Baloo speeds away, slows down, and continues to chase. Hatrix jumps forward, can't quite finish this one up. Deadly flashes forward. He's not going to be able to get any closer to the Equalizer. What the hell was that?
I think XL know what's on everybody's mind right now, and it's that the game is probably over, and it has been for a little while, so they're trying to get out ASAP. I mean, granted, I will say, if we're talking about scaling to scaling, Dusty, champion to champion, do outscale, and honestly, maybe even if we're talking about how these comps can interact if the gold is even, Dusty, if they hold on, there's a chance. There's a solid chance. But this game has been so scrappy and so strange and just so pick-orientated around the map that I don't know if we're ever going to get to see that kind of thing occur. Deadly's 3 levels up on M-Test, just by the way, if you lost track.
Oh, my lord.
Yep, it's totally fine and an okay thing to be existing in your game of League of Legends. He also has 2,500 gold to go and spend, so Lord Dominic's and the Rage Knife. So yeah, the Gwynfuse is going to come out as a 4th item. Advian and Marcoon might be in trouble.
Yeah, getting knocked up by the decimating smash. Marcoon is zoned. He has nowhere to go. Puts up the Equalizer. Just flashes into Warzy. Oh, just leave the poor guy alone, man. This is unfair.
Like, somebody had to have said something to someone in the pre-game lobby. That's the only thing that I can think of.
Warzy obviously said something to Marcoon, because Marcoon is not happy with him.
Oh my god. Right, well, I'm not sure why BTXL woke up and chose violence against Warzy specifically. Everybody. But it almost worked if he didn't have a stopwatch, a Zhonya's rather. I think Warzy would have died to all that Rumble damage. And we spoke about the Rumble ult CDR earlier. Rumble R is back up before Marcoon has even respawned. So call it what you want. Balance. Discordant. Equilibrium. Either side of the spectrum, really. Whatever you want to... Anywhere on the spectrum, whatever you want to call it. It's... I don't know, Jake. It's not fair.
It's a short cooldown. We can see M-Test has bought Warden's Mail before he's bought the Glacial Shroud because he just needs armor. He just really needs armor to deal with Hatrix and Deadly. And a Rome as well, actually.
I mean...
okay, that armor's not doing much.
Yeah, Arome's on his way to the Grudge. He's probably pretty close, and the fact that Hatrix is giving him the wave indicates to me that he might have it right now. Yeah. So he's gonna...
Yeah, I think that's enough, actually.
Yeah, 800. I think it's the combined cost is actually 600, so Arome might have just lied to his mid lane. It is. Arome might have just lied to his mid lane.
They said, I need to get extra control wards for this dragon, guys.
Exactly. So, I'm going to go ahead and pick that one up. So, all of the armor that a lot of these XL members have is being negated by pen or items in one way or another. Hatrix is the only one without flat armor pen, but has the Kraken Slayer, so he's got a little bit of true damage to work with either way. And this is Soul finally for BTXL. I'm surprised it's got here, to be quite frank with you, but Dusty, if there was you got to win now. That's about it. You got to hope you delay the game.
There's a shot blast coming in from Arome. He's obviously got that grudge. As zombies charging forwards, Warzy has to be careful because somebody's going to want to hunt him down. Equalizer lands onto 3. The zombie's going to eat a lot of that culling. Sawyer takes up the tail end of it, and Hatrix is just threading the damage out, weaving it beautifully in between. Solar Flare's not been used by Avian. Low HP is. Here comes the charge onto the back line. They might just have found these XL members. The bot laner popped. Arome is all alone. The Chaos Storm has been used, and Arome able to survive this one for now, but Markoon is alive. No flash available. Used that earlier. No equalizer either. Arome might just have to try his best at stealing this one away with a shot blast over that wall. Can he do it? No, he can't. It's too slow. Dusty firing back versus XL in this game.
Look, we jokingly, or it was me really jokingly said that this game is probably kind of over just because of how we expect XL to play. But we did also mention quite quickly after that, Dusty's composition scales 1-to-1 a little bit better than BTXL's does, quite frankly. And if they can get front-to-back team for Warzy.
What is going on? Why is Warzy getting targeted so hard by Markoon?
I need to see the pre-lobby chat or something, but like I need evidence. There's got to be evidence for this violence. There's no other reason. There's no
I hope
other
Markoon
reason.
is RNC. We didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Yes, we do. As Dusty, honestly, if they can find these fights front to back, if the frontliners of Dusty can keep Warzy and MTest alive, and Blue, of course, can keep them healthy with shielding, it's very possible that they can win out team fights like we just saw. XL are not invincible. They've got 2 AD carries that have to operate inside of the range of a Victor, who, by the way, just backed and bought a death cap. He is strong. He can one-shot people, but he just needs the space to do it. And if he's given that space, Dusty have a very solid shot. And it's the gold lead's only 5,000 now. At the 30-minute mark, you can play out fights and win them.
Looks like XL are just going to start up this Baron. I do have that charge available on Zombie. Zombie's pretty tanky right now as well, so it's a quick Baron from XL, but it is a risky one. If you get caught in the pit, if you get popped up, you could die. And I think Markin may have just given away what was going on. So the shot blast is just going to give it a little bit of poke.
Yeah, I think BTXL, that team fight might have just humbled them a little bit, recognizing that this game isn't quite over. Not if we mess around, so trying to play a little more seriously around this vision, but it has now mostly been cleansed away by Dusty.
We are seeing the Rage Knife. Ooh, hello. We are seeing the Rage Knife onto Deadly. So he is building towards that. Gwyn's is the last item. I think it kind of makes sense. Kalista typically not massively a big fan of the crit.
No.
Much prefers the on-hit. Converting your crit into on-hit. Why not?
Anybody fighting? Any fighters?
Any fighters in chat?
Any fighters in chat? No? Alright. I like it. As, so, bit of respite. I think XL may just wait out to this next dragon, unless they're given an opportunity to try and burn down this Baron. We might just see a brief halt in the action for around 90 seconds or so.
Whilst, it's a matter of finishing up these final items.
Yeah, exactly.
Lord Doms is almost finished up for Hatrix's. Unfortunately for him, the waves are a bit too far away, so he's not actually able to pick it up yet. There's the Gwynzu's Rage Blade onto Deadly. So Deadly's 4 items right now on the Kalista. M-Test has finished up his third and has got a stopwatch in the inventory. When you got a stopwatch on your AD carry and the Sonya's on Warzy, it's going to be a little bit harder for XL to kind of do what they've been doing for the last 30 minutes, is jumping into Warzy's face and popping him.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if M-Test can accrue 800 gold and pick up a Chain Vest towards a GA as well, it's going to make him a lot more tankier. Oh, he's gone for the core field. So what's... Death Stance? Maybe?
Titanic, probably. Oh, Ravenous.
Oh, Ravenous. Yeah. Maybe the sustain will help him out too, yeah. But has a stopwatch just to have a stopwatch. Unless he had it in runes and I've just missed it the entire game, which quite frankly, given the pacing of it, I don't think you could fool me for.
We have been known to make mistakes.
Yes, we have been known to make mistakes. But I mean, look, the zombie doesn't really get chunked out by that anymore. It does still hurt, the carries if it pings onto them, especially the support Blue. If he gets hit by one of the shock blasts, he's going to feel it. But I mean, what, 200 HP at the end of the day? It's not that bad if you can react, you can even shield practically all of that damage.
XL are toying with the fact that they have that Fog of War, but there is a ward in the pit. Does look like Deadly's just going to take it out over the wall, so
I think
that's now gone.
I think Deadly are going to toy, XL are going to toy with the idea of doing the dragon whilst the soul comes up, or even try and goad Dusty into walking into their fog again, trying to find a good fight. But if you're Dusty, I think you just try and catch this next mid-wave high, and you bolt towards the dragon.
Oh! Zombie chunks pretty heavily. Marcoon now actually starting to do some pretty decent damage. Got the Cosmic Drive finished up as the third item, so even more CDR and a bunch of movement speed as well off the back of that. The True Shot Barrage just to scout out. The teleport's coming in from Hatrix. He's now finished up the Lord Dom, so he's 4 items in.
Ooh.
It looks like XL probably posturing to fight here. Zombie waiting for that charge. Avian lands the Zenith Blade. They're going to lock down. There's a great equalizer. Zen-Test shifts into it as Avian solar flares the 2 carries on the back line. They'll get the damage off. Deadly has to flash away.
Okay.
Sawyer's chasing in. Deadly's surviving for a while, but he's able to keep his life. Double kill. Gifted over the Hatrix. Now we can see Warzy flashing forward, able to get himself a kill onto Deadly. M-Test and Warzy still feeling comfortable to go for this, though. The front line and both teams are down, and it's absolutely resting on a knife's edge. If that shock blast hit Blue, could have been in trouble. Not going to be the case, though, because Marcoon almost got his equalizer back up. M-Test has to be so careful now. That shock blast also going wide. XL really want this soul, and they're going to fight tooth and nail for it as M-Test shifts in forwards. There's the equalizer almost up. It's up and available. M-Test shift is down. They're not going to pull the trigger, though.
That's going to send Orome back to base. And I mean, XL, they're going to give over the dragon. Even though they've got smite advantage, there's no jungler on the map for Dusty. They give up the dragon. So now both teams, 3 dragons apart, 1 dragon away from Soul. And right now, I'm going to just say it. The biggest enemy of XL so far this game has probably been complacency.
Yeah.
I think they got really carried away in the mid game. Now, right now, this Baron is being burned, and I don't think anyone on Dust. Ooh, Sawyer's here, but he's got no flash and there's no blast.
Sawyer can't get over the pit. The Zenith Blade lands. Advian sacrifices himself. No belief for no reason. A noble fool is Advian, as he's going to Zenith Blade just to troll. Oh, he gets the ward.
That's like one of those things where, you know, if you're watching a show or an anime and a sort of a mainish or a side character dies and it's self-sacrificing, and then like a Deus Machina comes in and all of a sudden the issue's fixed.
Yeah.
That's basically what Advian just did.
I think what that was XL weren't tracking flashes properly.
Yeah, I think so as well.
They assumed Sawyer could have had flash, and they went, well, Advian, you've died 4 times already. What harm can a 5th do?
Exactly. And in that replay there, we practically just saw M-Test, Warzy. They're capable of doing a lot of damage. And XL, whilst the initial picks are good and they did remove Zombie from the fight quite quickly, one of the big things about Sion is he reses. He reses with a lot of his stats. I think all of them, actually, now to think about it. So he was still effectively a part of the fight, despite the fact that they started off the fight by picking off Zombie. So him and Sawyer were able to still buy M-Test and Warzy a whole bunch of space. And I mean, it is truly Warzy and M-Test with frontline and shielding support against effectively 4 damage carries of XL, as the graph kind of shows. Deadly, though, has not really been able to put out too much in comparison.
Deadly kind of just CC lots in all these fights. He's a very short-range champion, and they have the ability to speed into his face. Deadly actually building towards what I assume will be a Wit's End as the final item here, so kind of needs some magic resistance to deal with Warzy. No dragon up for 3 minutes time, so XL kind of just have to chill. They've got Baron, but they're not really able to use it all that effectively at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the waves aren't really synced up properly. The Baron's only got 1 minute left on it. So they need to fix up fast, otherwise they basically just took the Baron off the map to take it off the map.
They took it for the gold.
Yeah.
It looks like, that honestly looks like that's all it is for them, unfortunately. Not able to get too much, and we are approaching max builds, there we go, on a bunch of these players. Just that zeal to finish up for Hatrix, which I assume will be that Hurricane. Could be a Phantom Dancer as well as a potential option.
I imagine.
Not Hurricane, sorry. Rapid Fire.
Oh, yeah, RFC. Yeah, RFC.
I'm assuming it's going to be an RFC.
Yeah.
I just got my Zeal items modeled up.
Yep. Trying to sort of match some of the range, lower the amount of times he has to be in the operational ranges of Victor and Ezreal. Really good pickup for a last item. Especially as we saw, if people are in range of Victor and he's allowed to chuck out his spells, he's blowing them up. He is doing serious damage right now.
Then he has to be a little bit careful. Part of me thinks maybe a QSS would have been nice on Deadly, actually. If he deal the CC, or do you think there's just too much CC? Once one thing hits, it doesn't matter if you can QSS it.
It's a tough call for me. I feel like maybe he just didn't have the gold for it, so that's why he went Negatron Cloak, and he just said, hell, I'm just going to pick up this Wit's End. Could very well be the case. And I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot of magic damage on this Dusty lineup. You know, Ezra obviously sort of deals 20%-ish magic. Maybe 30 if you want to get like super technical, because the ultimate, of course. Victor's AP, Uda's dealing primarily magic. And of course, Karma is as well. So you kind of get like the Wit's End vibe, but realistically, he shouldn't be in situations where he has to use QSS, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I feel like it is probably the better of the two choices. And I mean, right now, I think Wit's End is 2.6k to build, or it might be 2.9. I can't remember how expensive it actually is. So having it on Spike right now is much better in comparison to the QSS items, which I think are all like 3k, 3.1k.
XL do not have first move on this.
No, they do not. No.
They've not even got Marcoon.
There's one more wave.
On the top side of the map.
Yeah, there's one more wave, but like you say, yeah, Marcoon, Hatrix both on the top side of the map. This is a risky game to play. Now there is a flank ward, but you don't necessarily want to be flanking on Lucian. So it's been replaced, the control ward. So there's not even that ward there anymore. So no.
XL are flipping. They're flipping it. They've got the damage, remember. And if XL can just stop the bases, they could close the game here.
Not.
Can they do it? Deadly's been locked down by Sawyer, looking for the dragon.
Surely
Can they get it? I didn't see who got it. No, it was Dusty. They were able to pick it up. Now they're continuing to try and stop the bases. The teleports are coming in onto that back. Marcoon can't quite get the damage off. Wolsey's low though. Hatrix finishes it off. And XL just went for the back door. It was a ballsy play, but it does pay off. XL take the win.
I am speechless.
That was a very heads-up play from XL to close that game out. That game was quickly moving away from them. And I think, if anything, that is a comment on the game in itself. The fact that game got away from XL. They were ahead. This is arguably the strongest team in our league. They just got ahead, and that game slipped out of their hands. And it honestly came down to them having to go for a very, very decisive flank play with the teleport to close the base out. That was... I have questions about that.
Yeah, I'll say this as sort of closing thoughts. We said at the start of the game we needed to see something a little more, convincing from XL. I wouldn't call that convincing for one. And I really got to say the biggest enemy was truly complacency. You could tell that XL on the Rift, they thought that game was over. 100% they thought that game was over. And honestly, if I was on the Rift, I would too. But you can't disrespect the fact that your composition is such an early to mid game based comp, and that Dusty were running a true team fighting composition on front to back with two hyperscaling carries, and they did get carried away a little bit there. So a little bit of reining in to do, I feel like, if you're XL.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's time for us to pass it over to Scoundrel on the desk to break the day down and that game. So Scoundrel, over to you, mate.